Good afternoon, everybody. It is Saturday, holiday weekend. I've been working on knives for about a week and a half. I went and mailed off a bunch this morning, and I've got a couple more to get done and get sent off. But I've been working on knives for a week and a half, almost 2 weeks. It's time for a little break. So we're gonna swap out the trolling motor. If you remember a while back, I got that new Minn Kota motor, that big heavy saltwater series, and we're going to take the old motor guide off. Got the front panel removed where I can get to underneath where it's bolted down. Now some of y'all might remember when I had to redo that when I first got it, because the way it was bolted, it was loose. So I'm glad I used stainless steel nuts, bolts, and all that kind of stuff. So I'm not going to be able to get the camera up anywhere near there and show y'all what I'm doing, but get that one off and we'll get the new one positioned. Probably going to have to drill some more holes, some new holes to fit that, because I don't know if that mount, that one being a Minn Kota, this one being a motor guide, I don't know if the holes will line up or not, but we'll see. And I'm working a little bit at a time because it's very, very hot out here. I mean to tell you, in the 90s. And of course, on the very first one, I dropped the nut and the washer down in the hole. It's a good thing I got a whole box of those. So alright, see if I can get it off of there without knocking everything over. I think I got the nuts and bolts out. Camera's all cattywampus. There we go. Now I got to clean all that up, and luckily I have more of these nuts and bolts. Because I dropped another one down in there. Break my thumb. Alright, I'll be back after I recover from this. That thing's heavy. Hang on. Alright, got it set up there anyway. Folks, I'm old and very out of shape. Now, I'm going to see if the bolt hole patterns line up, which I don't think they will. But if I can get one in there to hold it down for now, we'll see. I may have to get some longer bolts. I've got one long one, but I didn't think about the difference. Alright, let's get to moving around and measuring and see. I'm just going to let the camera run for a minute, y'all. Bear with me. This is the next day. I give out yesterday, and it's later in the afternoon, so, and it's very, very hot. It's in the 90s again, so I don't know how far I'm going to get. Alright, that looks fairly good right there. Okay, holes are not going to line up at all. If I can get one in. Let's see if one of these is going to be long enough. Nope. Now one hole. Let's see. I know y'all can't see what I'm doing. Now one hole up here, the way this was originally set up, it's got a threaded grommet type thing in there. This one's intact, the rest of them are not. They're like that. So I'm gonna have to seal these up. And that one will fit. We've got some overhanger here, we're good there. And then we're going to drill out some new holes for, I'm going to have 2 here. And ideally 2 here for the best strength. 4 will probably hold it just fine. But I know good and well I got to get some longer ones. So for right now, and I'm not going to the harbor again today. I had a shock this morning. Mama woke up and she said, I want to go to, and I just knew she was going to say Walmart. She said, I want to go to Harbor Freight. What? Well, okay. Let me get dressed and let's go. So she wanted her some rechargeable battery things and all that, so we took off to Harbor Freight and a couple other places, and started getting hot. Traffic started getting bad, so we came home. Now, not going out again till in the morning. But now I'm going to move this. I'm just going to silicone them holes over and wait till in the morning and go get some longer bolts, because I've got some longer steel bolts, but I'm not going with that. It's going to be stainless or nothing, so that's that. Alright, got some silicone. Just gonna seal these holes up. Matter of fact, we'll have to seal all of them up. Let's get it positioned like I want it. That one hole I was thinking about is not going to work. Any water that splashes on the front, just don't want it to have a way to get down inside the hull. Now, it doesn't matter, this is as good a silicone as any. Doesn't matter what color it is. That's what I had, so that's what we're going to use. High-tech tool here. There's an oak leaf. Smooth it down just a little bit. Anything that you might see afterwards, I'm not really concerned about it. Just like that. Now, by the time I get back with nuts and bolts tomorrow, that will be good and dry. Be ready to position, and I've got the length of the shaft like I want it. Just about the same as the old one was, and that seemed to be a good depth, but you can still adjust it back and forth if I need to. I just don't want too much of it to hang off the side of the boat. That's why I got to spin it this way. That'll be made clear tomorrow. Like I said before, holiday weekend, and I'm not in any hurry. I'll get this finished up tomorrow, and we'll get back to work in the shop work on a Tuesday. Remember, Memorial Day is not a celebration, happy holiday. Although that's the way it's been commercialized, but it's the remembrance of those who went before us that didn't get to come home and get to do stuff like this. It's a somber holiday, and I say this every year, but just remember the people who gave everything so we can do this. We can run around in our boats, we can fish, we can hunt, we can raise our families, and a lot of those guys made the ultimate sacrifice. If it was to happen again today, would we win? I don't know. It's a very, very guarded thing. I'm not sure. The world is so much different. People's attitudes are so much different. And there's always going to be a big group of us that will stand up and fight. But there's another group that wants to run around in their pajamas every day and play on their telephones, draw their checks from the government, and they don't care because they've not been taught any better. But enough of that. We'll get back on this tomorrow, and we're having a very, very good supper tonight. I might even show you all that. Mama done did good on picking stuff out for tonight. Well, good morning. It is the next morning, and I have been to the hardware. Got me some new stainless bolts. I already got a box of nuts. And I went ahead and picked up a few more washers because I had a couple left over, but they wasn't quite. I dropped a bunch of them down in there. So anyway, we're gonna attempt to go ahead and get this on here. I've got it set where I want it, pretty much in line where the old one was. But like I said, being going from a motor guide to a Minn Kota, the holes wouldn't line up. Put the silicone on there, it dried just fine. I've got it set, got it hanging over about the right amount. I have installed many trolling motors over the years, so I think this will work just fine. Now to reach these holes, I'm going to have to use these two and these two. And I think that'll be more than plenty. And for a cushion, and I just knocked it off of my mark. For a cushion under here, I've got some of these grommets. Just take up a little bit of space, even it up with this maybe. When I get the holes drilled, I'm gonna drill holes one at a time and fish my way under there and put them in. Let's see, I don't know where to put the camera so y'all can see, but anyway, let me get it set back like I want it, and then we'll get going again. All right, here we go. First hole right here. All right, now it goes to the aluminum, and then there's 3/4 plywood under there. Let's make sure we got all the way through. Yep. Put that one there. Double check. Yep. Yep, I can get to that fairly easy. Now, before I even put the washer and the nut on there, let's go ahead and put our spacer here. Okay, and that'll act like a little cushion. I didn't do that when I redid the other one, and I wished I had them, but okay, now let's get it make sure it's back where we want it. Okay, right there. And we'll do our next hole over here. Let's mark it off because that's not gonna, the drill's not gonna allow me to go down in there. I could take this off, but I think we can get it done this way just as easy. And like I've said before, I'm not scared to drill holes in the boat, especially if they serve a purpose. Well, why else would you? But let's see, I got a different idea. Because those are not going to stay there. No, I'm going to take a little dab of super glue and stick these down here where they won't move around when I'm mounted. Be right back. I believe we're going to get a little rain come up on us here. A couple little dots. Center that on there. Now that should work just fine after I throw the cap underneath there. If you mess with stuff all the time like I do, always keep plenty of super glue. This is the Harbor Freight kind. It seems to work just as good as anything else. I believe it's all the same thing. Now we'll take this one and this thing's heavy, y'all. Let's get it lined back up. Got those two in. Take it off again, and camera's all up in my way. Let's see what happened there. Right row. Alright, hang on, let me figure out what happened there. Alright, I think my drill bit wasn't quite long enough, so I got it extended out in here as far as it'll go. Let's see if it'll at least mark the holes. I think that did. Oh yeah, there we go. I know y'all are upside down, but okay, now let me drill them on out. We'll get it all set up. All right, all my bolts are lined up with the grommets. Now when it tightens down, there's still going to be a gap right there because I don't have enough room to get more bolts in there without using self-tappers, and I don't want to do that really because 4 of these will hold it just fine. So what I'm going to do, to where these other mounting holes are, I've got a couple more grommets. I'm just going to stick them into place there, and when I pull down tight on these, that'll pull those down tight, just so there's no great big gap just sitting there. I mean, there'll still be a gap there, but it's not just flopping around, if you know what I mean. Put one on each side, put a little bit of glue on them and stick them down, and I think that'll work. Not far, we'll be ready to get it wired up, and then I'll tell you all the full story on this motor. Pretty interesting. Now underneath, this is stainless steel washers. These bolts are quarter 20s, quarter 20 nylock nuts. I don't know if these are stainless or not, but that's what they was. They're nylock, so they should hold just fine. I got one on, and this is the tedious part where I may drop something, and if I do, the camera don't need to be on because I'll say something not family friendly. So. Now it's just a matter of getting them all started. Got a number 3 bit in the drill. Always use the right size tool for the job. Normal Phillips head screws are number 2s. These are bigger, so that's a number 3. Remember that. There we go. It is mounted. It's very solid. Very tight. Got it good and tight, and being those nylock nuts, they won't vibrate loose. The spacers under here work just right. Pulled it down tight against those, and we have room for the strap. Goes right here. To have that came with it. right there. That'll go under there. You can see where it was at. Because this one was stored outside for a while. The reason the band-aid is on my hand, getting up under there, it rubs right there. But anyway, just a scratch, no big deal. I tore that one up, so I got to get a new one. All right, there we go. Now, get the panel back on and get the wiring. I'm going to take it. Let's go ahead and do that right quick. Let's lift it down to make sure. I'm sure it's fine, but bear with me. Hang on. Have the tools in the shop or on the front of the boat. Every time you go to work on something, that's the way it is. Around here anyway. Well, I won't go down because it's hitting the step. Which one? That step ain't there when it's in the water. So. That's fine. Perfect. Now, don't need that anymore. Let me get a breather right quick and we'll get the panel back on, clean up some of this mess, and we'll get the hot foots wired in and we'll give it a test. Alright, got the front panel back on. Now this one came with this type of plug, which you push these in and twist. And I have the other part too that I could change this out, but I'm not going to. I don't like this kind of plug. Never have. This one was off the old motor, and the piece it plugs into is only a year old. I had to replace that when I got the boat. So just cut it off and I'm going to use this. No need in going through all that. And then I mentioned I don't like this one anyway, this style plug. So let's see, we're gonna cut it off about here, just like that. That way it can be used, and I have the other end, like I said, in case I run across somebody that needs that. Now, of course, all my stuff's scattered, so now the ground wire, which is this one, solid black. Positive wire is white and black. Ground wire goes here. Okay, that gets soldered in together, and then we'll break the connection with the hot foot on the hot wire, because that's what the directions say. So let's get this prepped. I'm not going to be able to show you every bit of this, but I do have another video on how to wire a hot foot, which is a pretty popular video. Got quite a few views on it. What am I doing? Get rid of that thing. But to start with, we're going to connect these. Like that. Now I have some of these. Thanks to my buddy Ken Johnson. He had these sent to me. And I'll spill them all out. We'll get the biggest one there is. Now these are solder connectors. Put them in and get it hot, and it melts that solder and makes a good seal. And on top of that, hang on, I'm going to have to get on one little stool here. It's either that or climb up in the boat. I don't want to do that because I have to climb back out of it again. So. Okay, we're going to take some heat shrink. To cover it when it's done. And that's the biggest I have, so hopefully it'll be big enough. Take our solder connector. Goes in there. Goes in there. They're overlapping. And let's get the heat gun, which I cannot reach. Hang on. Turn the camera down. Hang on. I'm going to heat this until we see that solder melt. There it goes right there. I'm not sure that's melted good enough. Let's do a little bit more. Okay, yeah, I see a bead on either side. That's good. I'll let it cool just a minute, and then we'll slide this heat shrink wrap over it. Now that's a watertight seal right there, but just in case. Let the air cool a little bit. Cover that. There we go. Shrunk on there, and I'm going to cover this with some plastic wire covering when we get done. Okay, first step done. The ground is connected. Now we got to locate the hot foot, which of course I can't reach it either. So hang on. This has got to cool anyway. Let's get that, and it's going to go right there. Right there. Alright, it's going to go right there. Of course, it did not come with screws, stainless screws, like it every other one I ever had did, but oh well, I've got some in there. Let's go in the shop and look for them, and then we'll mount this down and we'll continue the wiring process. Won't take but a minute. Alright, got my wires prepped. Got the hot foot in. Now that's what I call it, the hot foot. So all we're doing here, the switch is going to break the hot wire. So to where, push that button. Take your foot and push that button, and that connects it, and that'll make the motor run. Now I put it right in the center because I can reach it from either side with either foot. If you want to run continuous, put that little piece there up and it'll stay on. Now I've used this setup for years and years and years. That's what I'm used to, that and the hand control. And I've had 3 foot control totem motors. Now the first one, I think I took that one off of the old boat, the old boat, and sold it. The second one I had on the Wallace 4, I took it off and gave it away. And I think the guy's still using it, I don't know. And then this boat came with the one that was on it. And I got to where I could run it, but I don't like it. The foot control takes up a lot of space on the deck, and the cord and all that. I just don't like it. This is the way I was brought up to run a trolling motor, and that's the way it's going to be. So let's get on with it. Okay, we're going to put some shrink tubing on both of these before I forget it. Nope, need the bigger size. Of course, I'm throwing it all over the place. Now this one needs to come from the battery, which is this one. Another one of our solder connections. That one about there and about there. Hang on, take just a minute to get it right. We'll get it. Alright, hang on, we'll start again. Like that. Alright, hang on. I think I got the wrong size. Alright, I think I got it this time. We'll know for sure here in a minute. Alright, I saw it melt and flow just a little bit. the same thing here. Now before I do the other heat shrink, I'm going to test it and make sure we got a good connection. That one there. Now, I know this is long-winded, but there we go. That looks good right there. Alright, let's let that cool off just a little bit. We'll plug it in, and we should have power. Now I can't lift it all the way down like I mentioned before because it's hitting the step on the trailer, but we can still test it and make sure it works. Then we'll wrap the wire with that plastic coat. Put those away for the next project. Alright, be right back. Alright, first try. I've got it propped up where it won't hit the boat. I promise y'all I have not tried it yet, but we're going to try it. I'll push the button. Looky there. And let's click it up on high. Now reverse. There we go. Off. Yep, so if you bump it when it's off, it won't come on. I like it when a plan comes together. Now, heat shrink this, seal that up good. I'll get out the cover cord, get that all done and tidy it up a little bit. And success. And I'll be back in a little bit with some final thoughts. Alright y'all, I'm gonna wait till I get it off the trailer in the water, put it down. I've got my measurement from here to here about like it was on the old one, which seemed to be a good depth, which can always be adjusted. But I may have to shorten up this cord a little bit, and I may not. I just don't know until I can get it all the way down. Now, I talked about this motor a little bit before. This is a Minn Kota Maxim Riptide. Okay, 55 pound thrust, 12 volt. So the old one that was on here was a 45 pound or 46 pound, and it pulled the boat along just fine. I'm sure this will be even better. Tilt handle, just what I wanted. Now once I get it set on there too and get it all the way down, sitting here I'll have to get an extension handle for steering, and I don't know, they'll make a long one and a short one. I don't know which one I need, So I'll wait till I get it down, and then I'll get one of those. I had a long one and a short one that I thought I still had. I looked and searched everywhere, but I remembered when I sold the Wallace 4, both of those handles went with it because it had the same type setup. And that's okay, no problem. I can make one out of PVC if I want to, but I can get one whichever size I need for not much more than a piece of PVC pipe. So we'll worry about that later. So there we go. Now this motor, if you buy it brand new, it's $1,200 to $1,300 depending on where you get it. Used, they go for $800 to $900. Now this one is used, but not used much, because my buddy Stump, y'all know Stump, shout out to Stump, he had a friend of his that bought a new boat, well, almost new boat, a big bay boat, and this was on it, and he didn't like it, so he bought him one, sort of the same model. I think it's a 85 or 90 pound thrust. It's got the iPilot and all that stuff on it, which I am not interested in at all. The simpler the better to me, and this is as simple as it gets, so right up my alley. Anyway, talk back and forth, got the deal going, and I don't understand, a lot of YouTubers don't want to tell you nothing about what they paid for something, but I'm going to tell y'all, because this is a deal of a lifetime. I give 2 $100 bills for this motor, basically brand new. So, and I had to save up to have that, but I did it. I got it. It is bought and paid for. So how cool is that? Now it needs a little bit of cleanup, maybe a little bit of wipe down, some armor all on there. It's got some little mildew on it, but I'm not too concerned about that, because it's gonna get dirty again, because we're gonna use it, and I hope we can use it next week. Mama asked me, she said, when you get it on there today, you're gonna take it down to the water and try it. This is Memorial Day. Going to the water around here today is not an option, with a boat or without a boat. It's people are everywhere. I mean to tell you, everywhere. And I've already told y'all what I thought about Memorial Day weekend, but people are gonna do what they're gonna do. If it's a good enough reason for families and friends to get together, I ain't got no problem with that. But Memorial Day weekend here on the beach down in the saltwater is ruined. Has been for many years. I won't go into it. I don't care if I offend nobody, but I just won't go into it. No way a normal sane person can go down there with these stuff that goes down there on Memorial Day weekend. They come in from all over the country, act a fool, try to push their agenda in everybody's face in town, and it normally don't wind up good for them. There'll probably be 200 or 300 arrests over the weekend or more. But people acting stupid normally is. But anyway, enough about that. We got us a new trolling motor, with the exception of measuring and making sure that I don't need to clip that wire, shorten it up. We'll put the wrap on it, and that's that. Pardon me. And I've been going in stages for the last 3 days, but we're done now. It's very hot out here. I'm going into the AC. Thank y'all very so much for watching. Everybody thanks Stump for finding this deal for me. Thank his buddy for letting it go for that. And I could not have ever found a deal like this without a little help from my friends. So there we go. Thank y'all for watching. Thank you for your support, and I'll see y'all on the next one with whatever I'm doing on the next one.